17 years before Bloody Sunday in Selma, Alabama. 15 years before Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s historic I Have a Dream speech. 9 years before the Little Rock 9 integrated Central High School. And 6 years before the Supreme Court decision of Brown v. Board of Education. Edith Irby Jones led the way to equal education for all students, regardless of race or gender. Dr. Edith Irby Jones, the first African-American graduate from the University of Arkansas Medical School in Little Rock, surpassed the limits in education that society had placed upon her because of her race and gender. Dr. Jones's leadership began during her time at the University of Arkansas Medical School, when she stepped up and demanded an equal education opportunity. Dr. Jones used her profession and leadership opportunities to bring better health care to people, especially minorities, in Arkansas, Texas, and other parts of the world. Edith Irby was born on December 23, 1927, near Conway, Arkansas. Robert Irby, Edith's father, taught his daughter an essential lesson.
What you give comes back in multiples, and it does not relate necessarily to money. What you give, whatever you give, comes back in multiples.
Edith Jones credits her father with inspiring her desire to help others and to be a leader. But it was the tragedy of her sister's early death that sparked Edith Irby's interest in becoming a doctor. In 1944, Edith Irby was accepted to Knoxville College in Tennessee. Upon her graduation in 1948, she applied to the University of Arkansas Medical School, Northwestern, and the University of Chicago. A reporter from Time magazine called to inform her that she had been accepted to the University of Arkansas Medical School. This successful step, which led towards integration in Southern medical schools, was nationally reported in more than 160 publications including Life, Time, Ebony, and The Washington Post. On September 10, 1948, only a couple months after Silas Hunt, the very first African American to attend a Southern graduate program, Dr. Jones became the first black admitted to the University of Arkansas Medical School, the first medical university south of the Mason-Dixon line to desegregate. Her admission occurred without a jeering white mob, without court action, and without federal troops. The fact that no African American, and certainly no African American female, had ever been accepted to a medical school in the South did not discourage her from leading the way. Edith Irby Jones was not only the first African American to attend a Southern medical school, but she was a leader in the civil rights movement, who paved the way for others to follow in her footsteps. Dr. Jones was a leading activist in the fight for equal rights and education for African Americans. She was a member of the Freedom Four, along with attorneys Floyd Davis, Harold Flowers, and Bob Booker. The Freedom Four was a civil rights activist group which spoke out across the South at churches and private homes, leading blacks to join the movement for justice and equality.
And we would go to the churches, to the rallies, and say, you don't have to accept this inequality. It's separate but equal, but you can demand that they don't give you these books. You can demand that you have a proper place, that your children do not have to come and sit in the classroom with their coats on because they're cold, and all the things that were degrading and dehumanizing. The amazing thing is that because I knew if I would get caught, I would be expelled from school. They would be jailed for what they call exciting a riot. We would make the speeches to the people who had usually gathered in a church, and we would tell them what their rights were and what procedures to take, and then we would get in the car and drive away.
Edith Jones was so adamant about African Americans receiving equal rights, she was willing to venture to substantial lengths in order to spread encouragement for blacks not to accept the inequalities in education.
I have always fought for rights, but I don't know why. I can't tell you why. And whether it was racial neglect, whether it was poverty, whether it was male, female, whether it was youth and age, whatever tends to cause one to feel less, be less, I felt if I could help them to do so, it was my obligation to do so. But because of my outside activities, I had to keep mine quiet. So what they would do for me was to drive me to this funeral home where they would put me in the hearse, bring me back to the city, put me in another car and take me to my apartment. Crazy, isn't it?
Edith Irby Jones worked with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in the Civil Rights Movement, leading equal rights campaigns in Arkansas. While leading other African Americans in the fight for civil rights, Edith Jones herself was facing discrimination at UAMS.
Laws on the book. And Dr. Chanel called me in and says, they say, if I let you eat in the dining room with the whites, that they're going to raise a stink.
By quietly refusing to accept the restrictions put on her life by segregated society, Dr. Jones built a successful medical career and used her success to lead the establishment of clinics in areas crushed by poverty. In addition, she set up a scholarship fund to help other young people enter the field of medicine. In 1950, Dr. Edith Irby Jones held a lecture at Philander Smith College in Little Rock. After hearing the lecture and meeting Dr. Jones, Jocelyn Elders decided to become a physician and continued on to study at the University of Arkansas Medical School. Jocelyn Elders later served as the first African American Surgeon General of the United States in the years 1993 and 1994. Female African American doctors such as Jocelyn Elders are part of the legacy of Dr. Edith Irby Jones because they follow the path that Dr. Jones paved before them.
I met Dr. Edith Irby Jones, and I was totally impressed with her. She talked about taking the high road and being the best one could possibly be. I wanted to be just like her.
Dr. Jones's determination to improve the quality of life led to her outstanding leadership in the fight for equal opportunities for women. On July 21, 1985, she was honored with the position of 84th President of the National Medical Association. As the first woman president, Edith Irby Jones overcame odds and proved that blacks could achieve much more than the standards that had been set for them by society. As president and leader, Dr. Jones challenged African American women physicians around the country to join the National Medical Association. Prior to Dr. Jones's attendance at the University of Arkansas Medical School, female African American physicians were almost unheard of. Today, her legacy is shown through the 18,533 female African American physicians. Dr. Jones was one of several black physicians who funded Mercy Hospital in Houston during the late 1960s, and she was one of 12 doctors who owned and led the development of Park Plaza Hospital. Over time, she was granted staff privileges at 9 Houston area hospitals in her community, such as Houston Hospital. This hospital was later renamed the Edith Irby Jones MD Healthcare Center in her honor. The creation of these facilities serve as part of her legacy because of the work they continue to do today. In addition to these leading accomplishments, she has maintained her practice in Houston's 3rd Ward in order to serve those who could not afford to go anywhere else for medical care. She and her husband also contributed to the Houston community by opening a bookstore to enable young blacks to read about what their forefathers had done, why they were in the positions they were, and why they should take advantage of what they have. Dr. Jones's primary goal was to educate young African Americans about their heritage so they could have pride in being who they are. Edith Jones's achievements within her community led her to perform philanthropic acts worldwide. Her legacy is evident in countries around the world such as Haiti, Mexico, Cuba, China, Russia, and throughout Africa. In 1986, she led the United States Task Force on Health to Haiti, where the medical and healthcare infrastructures were examined and solutions explored. In Vaudreuil, Haiti, Dr. Jones helped build a medical center. As a charter member of Physicians for Human Rights, she supported the building of an emergency clinic in Veracruz, Mexico. Because of their work, the group won a Nobel Peace Prize in 1997. On October 24, 2014, Dr. Jones was recognized by the University of Arkansas in Little Rock for her efforts in promoting equal access for blacks in education and healthcare throughout her career. She was honored with a bronze commemorative plaque on the Arkansas Heritage Trail in Little Rock. Dr. Jones's historic admission to the University of Arkansas Medical School is frequently overlooked as a historical milestone. Its invisibility is due, in part, to its sharp contrast to other stories of school desegregation in the South. Dr. Edith Irby Jones's leadership in the civil rights movement for equal education is the foundation for her legacy on the thousands of female African American physicians across the country and around the world. She broke through racial barriers in the South and continues to inspire scholars to pursue their dreams and overcome adversities in their lives.
Some success in having people not only respect themselves, but respecting other people and to do what they could to have the world to look at everybody in the way in which they were performing rather than the color of their skin and the circumstance in which they were born.